What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review over the Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next Percents.
Stay down with the game. I got no time for the drama, but they won't talk on my name now. Enemies wanna be friends with me. No, there ain't no way now. Boy, you should've just stayed down. No, there ain't no way now. I just be in my own lane now. Stay with the gang.
So yeah, like I said, I'm going to be doing a review over this shoe, but first I do want to talk to you guys about it a little bit. Now, as you guys can tell, the shoe is kind of dirty because normally in shoe reviews, you see a perfectly new shoe. But basically, I wanted to do something new. I've done a lot of shoe reviews in my time, but I wanted to make this one a little bit different. Like I said, basically, I have over 100 miles in these shoes. I figured if I'm going to do a review about them, I want to get comfortable with them and get familiar with them and actually know how they feel before I talk about them. So I've had these shoes for a little over 4 weeks, and I want to give you guys my honest review of these shoes. Now, to start off, these shoes are quite expensive. They came out at $200, which is pretty expensive for a shoe, especially if it's not a performance shoe. It's just a shoe that you're going to do your basic mileage in. The cheapest I've seen someone get them for is $120, but it basically all depends on the color you get and the size of the shoe you get. Now, I got these shoes at Dick's, and they are a women's colorway, so I just got a little bit bigger size than I normally do, and they feel great so far. The first thing I noticed when I got this shoe is the stack height, 46 millimeters, which is crazy. You're not even allowed to wear them in NCAA races because the stack height is above 40 millimeters. The stack height is about 8 inches bigger than the Nike Alphaflys, which is insane. And they also come with 2 AirPods, as you can see on this side, and they have one on this side as well, along with 2 different foams. They have the Nike Zoom X foam, and then they have the Nike React foam. And like every shoe, there are some good things about them, and there are some bad things about them. I'm going to tell you guys the bad things about them first, and then I'm going to tell you guys the better things about these shoes. So to start off, the first thing negative I noticed about these shoes is how long it took to break these shoes in. Now, obviously, you're going to have to wait a couple days, a couple runs to break these shoes in, but I think these shoes started to feel a little bit better after about 50 miles in, and they just got better from there. But if I was a shoe company, I would want the runner to actually feel really good in the shoe the first couple of runs because they still have the opportunity to take these shoes back. So yeah, 50 miles in a shoe is a little bit long to get used to them, but I'm lucky I kept them because they felt better in the end. And then the next thing about these shoes that's not so good is turning. When you're doing a tempo and you turn a sharp turn, your foot basically rolls out of the shoe. I think the only other shoe I've had the problem in is the Nike 4% Flyknits because it kind of has the same upper material and it's easy for your leg to slide out. Now, the Alphaflys are a lot tighter around the heel, so I don't have problems with the Alphaflys, and most of the time I don't do workouts in the Alphaflys, so I'm really not turning sharp corners or anything like that. But yeah, as you can see, these shoes, they're a little bit narrow, which makes it a little bit harder to run in the grass, so I would not recommend getting these shoes to do workouts in the grass. But these shoes feel so good on pavement, and it's so good running like long runs in these shoes, and it's also really good running basic mileage in these shoes. So yeah, now I think that we transitioned a little bit over to the better parts about these shoes. I think my favorite thing about the shoe is probably how thick it is back here, which is kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing at the same time. The good thing is it feels really good. It's really bouncy and really responsive, which obviously is going to be responsive with the Zoom X foam, and then you have the carbon fiber plate, and then you also have the air pockets. But yeah, one of the negative things about shoes being this tall is your feet really rely on the back part. So when you try to transition from these shoes to smaller shoes and minimal shoes, it kind of hurts your feet to do that, which is kind of the transition that I'm doing right now. All the shoes I've had in the past, the Nike 4%, the Nike Next Percents, Nike Alphaflys, all of those shoes have one thing in common, and it's how thick the heel is, which is very comfortable running in those shoes. But I want to start running in shoes like the Pegasus, and the Pegasus aren't as thick, obviously, so I'm kind of forced to run on my midfoot. So I've been doing a lot of strength exercises, but yeah, it's definitely easy to get comfortable with shoes that have stack heights of this high because they're so comfortable, because it has been pretty tough trying to transition from out of these shoes to a smaller minimal shoe. The next thing I want to talk about is the arches. I am not a flat-footed person at all, and the shoes that I ran in before these, I'm still kind of running in, are the Nike Infinity runs, which are perfect for my arches. So transitioning from a shoe with big arches to these shoes that are pretty much made for flat-footed people, I haven't noticed that much of a difference because I think these shoes actually kind of form around your feet. When I first got these, I looked in there and they were dead flat, and now I can see a little bit of a curve. So yeah, I think it definitely fits around my feet. And then as you can see, there are a bunch of little holes in this upper Flyknit material, which allows your feet to breathe, which is really nice on some of the longer runs during the hot day. And then back here, we also have a heel pad. I believe the first heel pad that came in a shoe was the Nike Next Percents. That's the first time Nike introduced these heel pads on the back of the shoes, and they basically put them in most of the shoes ever since. I know these shoes now have them in it, I know the Alphaflys have them in it, and I know the Next Percents have them in it. These ones are definitely a little bit smaller than the Alphaflys and the Next Percents, but they do feel very comfortable at the same time. Inside, you can barely see it, but it says Zoom in there on a fine print of blue, and then in the middle of the O it says Nike. But yeah, the first time I put these shoes on with some white socks, it left an imprint on my foot. I looked at the bottom of my foot and it actually had the exact same Zoom Nike thing on the bottom of my foot. So be careful the first couple times you wear them. If you guys don't want to ruin your socks, I would not recommend wearing a white pair of socks the first time you wore these shoes. I know I'm also going to be getting a lot of comments from you guys wondering if you can wear these shoes on trails, and to be honest, I would definitely not wear these shoes on trails because how loose they can be on your feet. If you do one wrong turn or take one wrong move, you can definitely roll your ankles in this pretty easily. So I would recommend you guys stay off the trails. And the tread on these aren't the best either. As you can tell, I ran in these shoes today and they still have mud in them. So yeah, it collects mud very easily, which makes it a little bit more slippery if you're running on the trails. Now, you obviously can run on the trails. You can pretty much run on trails with any shoe you have. I just wouldn't get these shoes if they were going to be made for trail running. I would definitely stick to some of Nike's trail shoes. You can even go with the Nike Infinity Runs. Those shoes would do more than enough for you guys on the trails. So yeah, I think that's going to be it on my video over the Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helps you guys decide whether you're going to get these shoes for your next trainer or another pair. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys, and stay blessed.